The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of ParaX, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
The Paranormal View. The Paranormal View. The Paranormal View. Time now for the Paranormal View. The Paranormal View on the ParaX Radio Network with your host, Henry Foister, Craig Rupp, and Jeffrey Gould. The Paranormal View.
Welcome, everybody, to the Paranormal View right here on the ParaX Radio Network. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and I'm sure we're down a few people tonight just because of the NCAA tournament, and it looks like it's a good one. I had to quit watching so I could do the show, but if you're listening from somewhere else around the world and you're not here with us, come on over to para-x.com and join us here in the chat room with all these wonderful people, and you'll be able to interact with our guests tonight and ask questions. I want to let everybody know that tonight Jeff is not with us. He is at the Queen Mary with the Don Shai Memorial Tribute that they're doing there. So he should be having a good investigation out there, and will be able to tell us what all goes on next week. Tonight, though, fear not, because we're going to have a good show. I have a surprise co-host that's going to be with us, and we're going to be finding all about this co-host, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce her. She, and it's a she. We're going to find out about Ceiling Cat, the one that rules ParaX with an iron fist. She is always here, and anybody gets out of line, she stamps them right away. So I want to welcome Cece. Are you there?
I'm there. Putting on my iron glove.
Now, you haven't been on a whole lot of shows on ParaX. I mean, you've been on some, but not a lot. You're always in the chat room and chatting with people, but at the same time, I don't think people knows that much about you. So we're going to be talking some about you and find out all about you, and then we're going to be talking about all kinds of other things. So I think one of the things is I'm going to let you go ahead and tell a little bit about yourself. How does that sound to start with?
Well, there's really not much to tell. I'm kind of a boring person. I go to work, I come home, I do, paranormal stuff. I take photos. It's all pretty low-key. I try to keep my life that way.
Oh, well, I notice you say you go to work. You might be at work, but even when you're at work, you're on ParaX.
I have ParaX pretty much on in the background. I do a lot of computer stuff, so I like to have background noise, and I don't want to call ParaX noise, but I just normally have it on in the background to listen to the shows. There's some shows that you can listen to 2 or 3 times and still get new information each time you listen to it.
True. That's true.
And from my standpoint, I like doing that. I always get something.
Right. You pick up things you might have been doing something you didn't hear or you wasn't following close enough, and you listen to it again and catch more stuff.
If you're in chat, you don't always catch all the nuances of a guest and what their replies are to things. So It's kind of nice to be able to listen to repeats, to be able to pick up on a lot of stuff.
Now,
especially when stuff is heady. The stuff that's really, really, I know
deep.
Dave had a show that had quantum physics on there.
Oh, yes.
That takes 2 or 3 listens to get.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Especially, it'd probably take more than that with me because anything above 1 + 1, I get lost. Were you born and raised in California?
Oh, no. I come from the Midwest.
Ah, where?
Corn Country, Iowa.
Iowa. I've heard of that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because there's a lot of paranormal activity back there too.
Right. There
Always
is.
kind of been into the paranormal.
Yeah, I know a baseball field there where the ghosts come out and play.
Exactly. That was filmed in just north of Iowa City, between Iowa City and Cedar Rapids. As a matter of fact, it's still there.
Right.
And the farm was sold with the understanding that field would still be there and that they would maintain it. And as far as I know, it's still an attraction.
Wow. And people still go there.
Yeah.
That'd be
Excellent
pretty
show, by
interesting.
the way. That was
Oh,
a
it
really
was.
good movie.
It was. That was one of my favorites. So I really liked that. I want to let everybody know that if you do have questions, you can private chat me or private chat CC and put your questions in. If you do have questions, you can private chat me or private chat CC and put your questions in. Anything you'd like to know about Sheila and Kat, ask.
Or Henry.
Yeah, or me. Ask and you'll hear it tonight because tonight's just going to be like a fireside chat. Our guest that we was supposed to have ended up getting strep throat, and I tried a couple other different people to try and fill in, and they were all busy tonight. So tonight it's just going to be me and CC and all of our listeners. So I got another question. Is there a Mr. Cat?
There is no Mr. Cat.
Is that a Mr. or mystery?
I am feral and proud of it.
Uh-huh. Did your microphone go away?
Wasn't feral for a little while, but feral.
Oh.
And did my mic go out again?
No,
How about now?
You're okay now.
Okay, yeah. So, yep, feral. Happy to stay feral. The ceiling's a nice place, built for one.
Built for one.
But I have, lots of friends, and the good thing about the paranormal community, to a certain degree, is we are a community.
Yes.
And we are one big family. At least at Para X, we are.
Right.
One big family, and you never feel alone.
Nope. Got lots of friends here. So.
Oh yeah.
Lots of great shows, lots of great hosts, and lots of great people that come in all the time to listen. And what's in the chat room is not all that listens. We have thousands and thousands that listens from other venues all around the world. So our shows get out, and everyone likes to listen. Another question, do you cook?
Do I cook? Yes. I like to experiment with different recipes and what have you. So, yeah, I like to think I'm a halfway decent cook. At one time, I would have loved to have been a pastry chef.
Really? Huh.
Because I don't think I could handle the other part of the cooking with, because you got to learn how to cut meats correctly and what have you. But pastry is very easy to do. And I think it would have been fun for me to be a pastry chef, but I have other things, other things above that I really want to do. But yeah, I like to get in the kitchen and cook.
Yeah, the only reason I asked was, like I said, you get up and go to work. While you're at work, you're on Para X. you get off work, you hurry home, and get right back on Parax. And I was just trying to figure out
It's called crock pot.
At what point did you take time to cook?
It's called crock pot. It works great.
Works great that way, huh? Well, what kind of foods do you like then?
The crock pot's great for things like stews and pork chops and soups and what have you. It's really good. Tomorrow is Hungarian goulash night.
Hungarian goulash. I like that.
Made enough for 6, so if anybody wants to show up.
I probably couldn't get there by tomorrow. Let's see here. What else have I got? Are you the... let's see. I think I already got that one. Yep, I did that one. You're into photography.
Mm-hmm.
You do a lot of statues and stuff in cemeteries.
Cemetery stuff, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Do you have a website where you show that stuff?
I don't have a website set up. I do have stuff on my Facebook page, but it's there's a ton of Barbara Duncans out there, so probably not going to be able to find me that way. I'm trying to set up a website where I can start selling the stuff. If not, sell them through ParaX.
Right. Well, I know at one time they were supposed to be setting a page up on ParaX where you can sell stuff.
Yeah, so if I do, it would be probably through ParaX. Cemetery photography's been a habit, or just, I just picked up a camera one day and decided, this is fun. And statues don't go anywhere.
Right. So
you can take the same model in different light, in different exposures, in different angles. It's just a lot of fun. It's a good way to learn photography. I branch out. I do flowers. I think you've been on my Facebook page. You can see I have different tulip festivals and various flowers that in the Bay Area that I photograph, along with some Bay Area scenes too. There's a lot out here.
Now I've got a question already from the chat room from Nyla. And she wants to know, have you ever gotten any paranormal, any paranormal anomalies in your cemetery photos?
Not even an orb.
Not even an orb.
I haven't gotten one orb in a photograph yet, and I've taken thousands of photographs.
Must be your camera.
It could very well be. And it's interesting when you get people who take a point and shoot, and if you have a point and shoot camera, you're probably likely to get an orb because you're not focusing the camera right, or you're shooting into the sunlight.
Right.
And in different combinations, you're going to get a lot of orbs. I.e. pollen, water, dust.
Anything like that.
Yeah.
And
I think even sunlight will do that too.
Yes. And I think a lot of the stuff that people call orbs is just those types of things from dust and different particles, the way reflection comes off of it.
Oh, I've even taken pictures on the USS Hornet, and I have not gotten anything there yet. I don't know whether it is that they just don't want to be seen, or there's nothing to see. I don't know yet. But I've taken about 100 photographs in the Hornet over 3 different investigations, and I haven't gotten anything there yet.
On the Hornet.
On the Hornet.
The
Hornet's haunted.
Yeah. Does that seem to be a nice place to do an investigation?
The Hornet is great to investigate after an event has happened there. Like last week, they had the Tuskegee Airmen there.
Right.
The survivors. And I would assume if I went back there this weekend, it would probably be very active. The more investigations happen and you come in after the tail end of that where the atmosphere is stirred up, or especially the patriotic stuff is stirred up, I think that you get better activity.
Wow. Well, that's pretty good. And we're going to talk more on your investigations a little bit later. With your photography and the photos that you do from there, are you going to do a book on them?
Not so much a book, because I think there's so much better photographers out there than I am. But I've often wanted to do an urban tarot deck. And by urban, I mean take modern symbols and put them into a photograph and into the context of tarot.
Wow. What is that?
Well, for instance, take urban settings or urban actions and actually use the tarot cards as the background for them. Like the Ace of Cups would be some sort of goblet that I could take a photograph of.
Oh, right.
Something very opulent.
Oh, yeah.
The Tower would be a different type of card where, you could have a number of different buildings. But just modernize it so that you grab some more of the modern symbols as opposed to the ones that were in the original designs.
Right. Well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it might be interesting to try.
Yeah.
Very difficult, though.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Let's see here.
Now I'm interested, Henry.
Okay.
As to how you got into the paranormal, because I don't think in the years I've been listening to the Paranormal View that it's ever been brought up. How you got into the paranormal?
Well, I tell you, growing up, I was always afraid of the dark. I was afraid of ghosts. I didn't want anything to do with anything like that. If I drove by a place and it looked spooky, I wouldn't even go near it. If somebody said, "Oh, this place is haunted," I wouldn't even go in it. So, that being said, I'm a big scaredy cat. Now, Patsy in 2008 had been watching Ghost Hunters. And finally she told me, she says, "You need to come and watch this." So I went down and started watching the Ghost Hunters one night. And they had the K2 meter. And they were asking questions, and the lights would start lighting up to answers to the questions. I says, "Oh, wow, that's pretty neat." And so I started watching it more, and I started getting into it. And I said, now, if I could do something like that, communicate, that might be pretty interesting. So we started looking around to see if we could find one of the TAPS groups in the area, and there wasn't any. On the internet, though, I come across this place called CAPS, Kentucky Area Paranormal Society. And on their site, they had this link to ParaX, which live shows and stuff. So I said, well, let me go here and check this out. And I was amazed. You get on this site, and you hear all these live shows and the people talking about all the paranormal and this and that, and I got interested in it. So the more that I got interested in it, Dave and Tom ended up inviting me to go to a convention in Louisville. I did that, met them, and then they asked me if I wanted to go with them to do an investigation up close to my house. So I said, sure. Of course, I wasn't going to be more than 2 feet away from anybody because I'm a big scaredy cat. But I went on my first investigation and had a great time. Met a lot of great people from ParaX, and that was how I got into it. And then that was the night that they asked me to do a radio show. So I was kind of hooked from there.
Great. And how many investigations have you been on since?
I have done some kind of like private type investigations of different houses and stuff, probably 7 or 8 of them. I've been to Fort Mifflin. I've been to Waverly twice. I've been to the Morrison Lodge 3 times, I think. And I've been to Hillview Manor.
Okay.
So
and which do you think has been the most active?
For me, I liked Hillview Manor. Of course, I liked Waverly, or not Waverly, but Fort Mifflin. I liked the history there, and I think that's where I got my first couple of good EVPs, and I didn't know that I had them until I come back home.
Oh yeah.
But Hillview Manor, they had a group there that come in just because Steve and Tango and a couple of them from Ghost Hunters was there. It was an ideal event, and so they must have been 125 people or better doing an investigation there. And with that many people running around, you're not going to get much evidence. I mean, most everybody comes just because they want to be with the ghost hunters, but you're not really going to get a good investigation.
Right.
But we was upstairs in one of the rooms, and my son and this girl named Carrie was sitting in the room. It was in the bathroom. And they had some feelings that something was in there. So they was sitting there, I guess, asking questions, and about 2 feet between them, all of a sudden something just stomped twice. And, of course, there wasn't anybody else in the room. And we caught everything on the recorders. So, I mean, it was just wild. With all that many people and you still get something like that there. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm amazed. I understand the need for large crowds like that because you have to learn sometime how to do a proper investigation. But as far as investigations go, it's very difficult because you have a lot of contamination.
Oh, sure.
Right. Noise contamination, at least.
And so you're not going to get really a lot of good evidence like that.
That's very true.
Nyla also,
and the Morrison Lodge isn't that that populated by paranormal groups either, correct?
When you go down there, now the last time I was down there, they had another thing with Ideal Event, which they did have quite a few people in there that night. The first time I went down there, it was just about 6 or 7 of us because it was with Doug and Pat from Ghost Soldiers. I think it was Dave and Scott was there. And I think about 3 others. So we didn't have that many people, and you was able to get some pretty interesting stuff there.
That's great.
Nyla also reminded me I did go to the Spalding Inn.
Okay.
That was a interesting place. It's real old, but everything was fixed up real nice there.
Now that's in Arkansas, correct?
No, that's in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is quite a ride for me. That was a long way. So.
If you're driving, yes, that's a very long way.
Yes. And what made it so bad was it was December the 18th, 2009.
Ouch.
And at the time, it was on a Saturday night because I was doing my show. And the next morning, we got up to leave early to come back. And we got down toward Philly to come across. And a snowstorm hit the East Coast. We had to stop in the mountains because we couldn't go. Everything was snowed in.
Yeah, trying to drive in snow, like a whiteout.
It was
not good.
And I wasn't about to get caught somewhere, so we stopped and got a hotel room. So it wasn't
probably smart.
Right, but we had a good time though. It was fun.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
you asked me that, and I'm going to ask you: how did you get into the paranormal?
You know, it just always seemed natural to me. Little white lights at the foot of my bed when I was growing up, and I just thought, oh, okay, they're supposed to be there. Of course they're there. I just always was amazed by the paranormal and the occult, always. And I don't know, how that came to be, whether it's past life bleeding through, whatever, but ghosts never scared me. The occult never scared me. The paranormal never scared me. I was just sort of drawn to it. It still doesn't scare me, really. Even playing around with the Ouija boards, if I may say that, at a young age, never had a problem. It amazes me when people say that they are afraid, and I can kind of see where some people might be if they don't know what they're doing. But no, I'm saying that I just sort of intuitively got it.
Right. Well,
and it's difficult if you don't intuitively get it.
I
can see where it would be.
I think one of the things that really got me was my mom and grandma lived in Kentucky in the hills, mm-hmm. and the place where my grandma had lived was up away off the road just a little ways. When she got married, they lived in this house, and it had, I guess it was pretty active in there.
Okay.
My grandpa, in the bedroom, there's kind of like a hole in the ceiling. He kept a bottle of whiskey sitting in there, and him and a couple of his cousins was in there talking, and all of a sudden they heard the bottle turn over, and you could hear the whiskey gulping out of it. You know, like gulp, gulp,
wow.
gulp. You know? And they started hollering, "Oh, the whiskey!" And they jumped up there, and the bottle was still standing right straight up. Wasn't a drop spilt.
Wow.
When my grandma first got married there, they had an old porch swing, and the first night they was in the house, they went to go to bed, and all of a sudden the swing started swinging on the porch. And she told my grandpa, said, go out there and see what's doing that. And he said, it's just the old dog jumped up in the swing. So she let it go. So the next night, they went to go get in the bed, and all of a sudden the swing started swinging again. And she said, go out there and see what that is. And he said, it's nothing out there. It's just the old dog jumped up in the swing. And she said, either you go or I go. And if I go, I won't be staying in the house anymore. So he told her, he says, well, I'll go ahead and tell you. He said, there's nothing out there. She opened the door, and the swing was just sitting real still, wasn't moving at all. So they had all kinds of different stories about that house. They didn't live in it real long. They moved down below the road and lived in another house, and then had another house built down from that haunted house. But when we would go down there to the old home site, they would go up there because nobody was living in the old house anymore, and you could walk up to it. I'd walk up on the porch, but you couldn't get me to go in that house just because of the stories that they had told about. Yeah, and I think that's what really got me spooked about ghosts and different things like that, was the stories that they all told. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing about Kentucky, Tennessee, that area, is that it was populated a lot by Scottish immigrants. And so you had a lot of people there with that Highland culture,
right?
Which includes banshees, ghosts, intuition, psychics, the whole nine yards.
Right.
So I am not surprised. The one case of sin eating in the United States was in Kentucky, I believe.
And they called it what?
Sin eating.
What's that?
It's the practice of it's a funereal practice. When the body is being prepared for death or for burial,
right?
And they usually put it on a cooling board, and in some cases that was the kitchen table.
Right.
Food would be put out around that body, and they would invite the sin eater to consume the bread, rice, whatever was put out for them, in the hopes of that person would consume all the sin of the deceased, so that they could go to heaven. Really? If they didn't confess their sins.
Well, I hadn't heard that. That's something new that I learned.
Yeah, there's very few sin eaters. I think it was around 12th century when the practice pretty much stopped, but in the Highlands of Scotland it was practiced. The whole idea of having the buffet after a funeral is a offshoot of sin eating.
Right. That's pretty interesting, because I know down there in Kentucky, it's nothing uncommon when someone died, they would bring them to the home, and people would set up with them for 2 or 3 nights. Yep. There'd always be somebody there in the room with them, and they'd start singing them old songs and spooky and all that stuff. And you couldn't get me to go in there and do that kind of stuff. So, but yeah. Matter of fact, I had a song, and I might try and play it a little bit later if I can find it, where the guy had been sitting up. With that practice, sitting up with the body, and it's a funny song. You guys will have to hear it. So I'll see if I've got that when we get ready to take a break here in a little bit. But that's pretty interesting, though. Yeah, Kentucky, Tennessee, that area is filled with those kind of tales.
Oh yeah.
I want to go back down there because I know a lot of my relations still live down there, and they all have lots of those type of ghost stories.
And there are banshees, from what I understand, that the family banshees that are still recalled in Kentucky, at least within the Scottish families there.
Right.
Oh yeah,
and
most definitely.
Dave probably knows a lot about that too, because he's from down there close to where, matter of fact, he's from where my mom and grandma lived, Manchester, Kentucky. But he lives in London, Kentucky now, which isn't but about 35, 40 miles away. So that's pretty interesting. They used to have a tale also that tell me about back in the olden days, they didn't have a lot of cars. You either had a mule or walked. And you'd have traveling salesmen that'd be going from one town to another, and if it started getting dark, they would stop in at a farmhouse somewhere to see if they'd have room to put them up for the night. A lot of your salesmen didn't have money to pay for it, so they did a thing called raising the table. And that was a big practice, I guess, way back then. It was pretty interesting because my grandma...
Raising the table like table tipping?
Yep, just like table tipping.
Okay.
And the thing is if you do it a lot in one place like that, the spirits gets into the walls of the house, and at night the walls and stuff will start knocking and stuff. They told me about one time my grandma was like 15. One came to the house, and they was all gathered around to watch it. And he took my grandma out of the crowd and set her up on top of the table. And he said, "Now, table, I want you to knock one time for every year old this girl is." And it knocked 15 times.
Wow.
And he said, "Table, I want you to knock one time for every year it is until she gets married." Table knocked one time. And by the time she was 16, she was married. So those kind of tales fixed it to where I didn't really care if I went back in the hills of Kentucky or not. So, pretty interesting, though.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff there. I tell you what, before we go on and before I run out of questions and whatever, I think we ought to take us a quick break here. Well, a little break anyway. Give us a chance. I don't have all my other people here to do the talking tonight, and it's just us. So we'll take a break and let our voices rest.
Okay.
If that's good enough. And since I don't have Jeff here to be able to do the thing, I guess I have to do it tonight. So I want everybody to stay tuned right here to the Paranormal View, and we'll be back in about 7-8 minutes, something like that. So till then, we'll be right back.
Don't go away. The Paranormal View will be right back.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Paranormal View right here on the ParaX Radio Network. I want to thank everybody for listening tonight. And if you're listening somewhere other than here at ParaX, come on over to para-x.com and join in with all these wonderful people here in the chat room. You'll be able to interact with us and send questions to us of CC or to myself, and we'll get those answered for you. Welcome back, CC.
Thank you, dear Henry. How are you doing?
I'm still hanging in here. I got my coffee now, so I'm good to go for another 15, 20 minutes before I have to go. So I did get to play. I found the song and did get to play it, "Sitting Up with the Dead" by Ray Stevens. It's a pretty funny song. So if you haven't heard it before, get on YouTube and look it up. You'll be able to hear it. So, where was we at? We was talking about the paranormal, what got you into it. And you've already said you do go on investigations. Are you in a group?
Yes. No.
Okay, but
a group of, a couple of us get together every once in a while and go to the Hornet, go to a few other places. It's difficult to find areas that aren't private residences that you can actually get into and investigate.
Right, and a lot of those type of places, if they're big, well-known, some of them charges quite a bit of money to be able to go do it.
You bet. A lot of money. There are ghost tours, but again, it doesn't give you the opportunity to actually do much of an investigation. It's more of a historical
right.
event. And there's a couple of hotels, but they try to downplay it as much as possible. So it's difficult to find areas and places that other groups have not been in. And that the owners are willing to allow you to get in and investigate.
Right. Some of the private residences that I do is people that either I know or known by friends of mine who say that there's something there and they want us just to come in to see if we find something. And I'm not in a group, but I do have a bunch of people that I will go with from time to time like that, just to see if we find anything and let the people know. So,
sure. Well, you don't need a group. You don't need a group. You don't need fancy T-shirts. You don't need a logo.
No.
You don't need a fancy name. You basically just need the know-how to go in there, one or two people to do an investigation.
Right.
And especially if you're going to be doing long-term investigations, you don't want a great big crowd.
No.
Going through areas.
You don't want a big crowd. You don't want, and to me, if you've got a big group and doing it by a group name and stuff, and you got to have all these papers that you got to fill out and do this and do that, it's a lot more hassle than just doing it on, I guess, like I won't say a hobby level, but it's on your own kind of thing. So the first place I really started doing a lot was farmhouse where Patsy went to do painting classes. And they started telling us, oh, this place is haunted, blah, 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 and telling me all the stories and everything. So she'd go there to paint, and I'd go there and investigate. And surprisingly, that was where I got most of my EVPs and different things like that. So that's pretty interesting. Since then, they tore it down, but there's some other places that I've been into and got some EVPs. So,
yeah, well, one or two people, it's better. If you're in a large group, well, the groups that investigate the Hornet, there's sometimes 40 people there, and who are you going to respond to? A whole group of people yelling at you going, are you there, are you there, are you there, are you there, are you there?
Right.
Or are you going to wait around for one or two people where you can actually feel like you can talk? So sometimes being in a smaller group has a benefit, I think.
It does.
We treat ghosts as if they're something other than what we are, human, and what they were.
Right. Which they aren't anymore, but
yeah,
probably to them they still feel like it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So I think that the smaller groups actually, I'm with you. It's the ghost trend now seems to be everybody wants to form a group. Everybody wants to go out and do investigations every weekend, different places. Whereas to me, a good investigation will take place over a long period of time, perhaps years, going to the same location, different times, different days of the week, different times of the year, different atmospheric conditions to see if there's anything there.
That's true. That's true. And I also go on the assumption if they're there at night, they're there in the daytime too.
You bet.
And we have been trying to get some things together where we can go and do some like daytime investigations to be able to compare what kind of evidence you'd be getting between day and night. So,
sure.
We're working on that. We haven't got to it yet, but there's probably 6 of us maybe that can go from time to time to different places. So I have a group of maybe 8 people that I know that likes to do the stuff, and when we go to do something, just depends on where it is and when it is. I'll ask 3 or 4 of them, and we go sit around and see what we can catch. So
it's interesting that people don't think that they can investigate in the daytime, and I've actually preferred it. Fewer people around. I don't believe that you have to fumble around in the dark to get good evidence.
That's true.
I think you can pick it up in the daytime too. And I know people who have gotten shadows in the daytime that can account for it as being light anomalies.
Really?
Shadows, yeah.
Well, that's pretty
so
interesting.
it's possible.
Yeah.
And in the middle of a ship, you don't know if it's daytime or nighttime anyway.
That's true. Places like that. I know, to me, I would say 80% of anything you get is personal experiences anyway.
Sure.
So to try and figure out what something is, that's the fun part of it. So I like going to do it now.
Well, yeah, and to me, it's a matter of convenience to go in the daytime. You're not keeping anybody up at night,
yes.
Human-wise anyway.
I have a hard time staying awake late at night anyway. Anymore.
Well, I totally agree with you. If it's haunted at night, it's haunted in the daytime.
Yeah.
And it depends upon if a ghost sleeps. They do it at night too.
I'm not so sure that they sleep. I think that they have no track of time.
Time?
Yeah. That would be my feeling. So
it's interesting to try to figure out what the awareness factor is, the awareness of surroundings, whether they actually live out days, whether they have a concept of what daytime, nighttime is anymore, or whether they're in their own dimension or reality. They can tell the difference.
Well, that's the way that I lean toward is they are in another level, and there's times, I would say, with atmosphere or this or that or whatever, lets it bleed over kind of. So that's the way that I look at it. When you die, you're on another level, and you're living at that time as the way you did when you were here. Everything looks the same as when you were living at that particular time. Because if it wasn't like that, you have people living in insane asylums that are completely run down, ready to be tore down, and they're walking around in it like it's new, like it was when they was living there.
Sure.
So.
But it's interesting because we also hear there's a theory that if you do renovations, it upsets a ghost.
That's
well,
true.
if they're living in their own time period, how would they know things are being altered?
Well,
but then again, we don't know if there's different types of hauntings or not.
That's true. And those are probably things that we're not going to find out until we get there.
Probably not.
Yeah. So.
Or, like I said, we find the right...
Your mic went out.
Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
Okay.
Now you're out. Cece's been having problems with her mic cord. Yeah.
I think I have a poltergeist.
Oh, okay. Well, you're back now. Then maybe they just didn't want you to talk about them.
Sometimes you wonder whether or not some of these electrical issues are.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up another good question about our use of electronic gear when we investigate, as to how much of it they can actually influence. And the K2 meters, if there's any interaction, like you were talking about before,
right?
With digital recorders versus non-digital recorders, magnetic tape,
right?
And if they can influence that, why can't we just hook up an internet connection to a location and have them use the internet
to talk with?
Yeah, and
I think a lot of that, even though it picks up, I think it's on a different frequency, and that's why we don't never hear it most of the time with our own ears. So if you could figure out what frequency they're actually transmitting on or talking on, and you could hook it up that way, you could probably audibly hear them then when they are talking, and you could talk back to them on that same frequency.
Well, if we go on the assumption that an EMF meter does work, then it would make sense that a regular tape recorder would function better because you're actually using magnetic tape. Well, and it would be able to use that.
Do you use both?
Yes. The only thing I don't use regular film. I use digital cameras.
Right.
But I think in order to get it correct, yes, a digital recorder and a magnetic tape recorder, just to see if there's any difference. Although you might not pick them up on the same location anyway.
True.
I think Jimmy came up with the theory that you could have 3 digital recorders in the same room and only one would pick up the EVP.
Well, I know the one at Hillview where my son got the stomping. I was outside the door coming up to that room when it happened, and my recorder picked it up also.
Wow.
So both recorders picked that same sound up, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah, then you have an audio anomaly versus an EVP.
Right.
And it's interesting that how things are physically manifest as opposed to just picking up on a recorder.
I got another question here from the chat room from Nyla. And she wants to know if you've ever gotten any answers from the spirits regarding their existence now.
No. The only really good Class A EVP I've heard is someone saying, "Can you hear me?"
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And it was very clear.
Well, that was pretty interesting then.
Yeah. So, but nothing along the lines of, this is who I am, this is what I am. No. I don't use a ghost box that often. But you pick it up the very first time I turned it on, I got a lot of swearing at me.
Really? Huh. I haven't never had anything like that. The only thing that I ever caught was at when I was at Fort Mifflin. I think we was in Casemate 5, And like I said, I didn't know it till I got back home. But it's real faint, but it said, "Henry, help me." And I was amazed that it actually said my name, because there was 4 of us sitting there. It was me, Beth, Dave, and another guy who's there all the time. And I thought that was really interesting. After I listened to it, I got the chills. And, I'm already back home then. I can't go and follow up on that or say anything. So I thought it was pretty interesting. So.
Yeah, most definitely. But it's interesting. I find the ghost box a fascinating tool to use. But if I don't get anything that is very blatant, I tend not to put much to it.
Right. You kind of
if you have to strain to hear it or see it,
right.
You throw it out.
Well, now, the ghost box, is that the one that goes, da, 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 and you're picking up words out of it?
Well, I have one of those that does that. I also have another one called the Jensen SAB 55, which doesn't click, which I've had better luck with.
Oh, yeah. I would tend to go with something more like that, because I can pick stuff out of it a lot easier if I'm not having to listen to the other stuff.
The click drives me absolutely crazy.
Yes, it does. Yeah. So I might have to look into that one and check that out then. That sounds pretty interesting.
They're easy enough to hack. So it's a good piece of it's just another tool, and it's relatively cheap. I think it's about $19-20.
Right. Okay. And you get it at like Radio Shack?
Actually, I think it's Target.
Target? Oh. Well, I can go there and check those out then. I'll do that. Pretty interesting.
All sorts of tools that you can use. That doesn't cost a lot of money, and you don't need a lot of people around.
That's true.
And like I said, long-term investigations, I think, are the best. You're not going to catch anything going for a 4-hour investigation.
Yeah, you have to do it.
Hauntings don't happen every day.
No. And just because you go today and you don't get anything doesn't mean that you might not go back tomorrow and get something.
And I love shows like TAPS, because I think that they have brought the paranormal into a level that people can actually comfortably talk about it now.
Right. That's
as
true.
Opposed to, it can't possibly be happening, and we're freaks if it does happen.
Right.
But the idea that you go from place to place to place to investigate, and I know the TAPS guys don't do that on a regular basis.
Right.
They set up ongoing investigations.
Oh, yeah.
You can't investigate once and call it paranormal or not paranormal.
No, you have to, if you're really, that's like the farmhouse that I used to go to. I would go there at least once a week, and sometimes maybe more often. But I could go there for an hour and a half, may not get anything. I could go back the next day and be there 15 minutes and walk away with something. So I thought it was pretty interesting. And there was a lot there. It's just too bad they ended up tearing the place down. I hated to see that.
Well, as I look at it as just like cemetery photography, I can go to the same cemetery, and I have, every weekend over a course of a couple of years, and it always looks different.
Really?
You can't walk into a place and have the same mindset. It always looks different every time I go there. I can turn a corner and I can see something I haven't seen before. And I'm looking at it going, now when did that arrive? And I look at the headstone, and it's been there since 1886.
Really?
But you just don't see it.
Yeah, there's some cemeteries around here that's got tombstones way back in the 1750s. So I go there sometimes, just walk around with my recorder. The only bad thing about that is usually in a cemetery, you'll pick up traffic or you'll pick up the wind. And if there's any kind of a breeze at all, it really affects the recorder. So,
Oh yeah. So you walk into an investigation and you have to look at it that way every time you go back to a location. Is look at it like it's brand new. Look at it like it's a place you've never been to before, because the atmosphere is going to be different. The environment's going to be different. Something's going to be different each time.
Now, I got some things here we'll talk about. We'll talk about one or two of them and chit-chat a little bit about it. And then before we take another break, so what is your take on shadow people?
You know, that's really interesting. And I don't know if it's any different than a regular ghost. I haven't come across one yet. So I'm kind of just sort of saying, okay, well, when I see it, I kind of intuitively...
Oh, your mic went out. It's still out.
Oops.
Now you're back.
Okay. I don't know about shadow people. Haven't come across one yet. Would love to.
Yeah, I haven't seen one yet either. And I have a hard time because I'm night blind. If it's dark, I can't see anything just about. So I sit there and wonder, how much does people really see straining into the dark? Mm-hmm. Or is their eyes focusing on something so hard that anything can happen and they think they see something move? Are they seeing it out of their, kind of like out of their peripheral? How much plays into their imagination, telling them that there's something there?
Yeah, if you're not used to looking at video, especially infrared, pixelation oftentimes looks like dark shadows moving, when in fact it's just pixelation of the camera. It's also peripheral eyesight too. The thing that people forget about peripheral vision is it takes something moving in the corner of your eyes to activate peripheral vision. So you can actually look like there might be a shadow when it's just your eyes moving or your head moving and something just right outside your peripheral vision is moving.
And makes you think that something's there.
Something's there, yeah.
Yeah, I fully believe that. Now, I'm not saying that there's not shadow people.
Oh, no.
But you wonder how much of your imagination and different things like that plays into it.
Sure.
So now I know people that swears up and down. They've chased them. Some of them's come right up to them and different things like that. Yeah,
you see some great videos out there and you think, wow. I want to go to these places.
Mm-hmm.
Waverly, I guess, has a ton of...
Waverly's supposed to have a ton of them. I've been there twice. I've never actually seen anything. Now, we was on the floor one time, and everything above the first floor, which is second, third, fourth, and fifth, has no windows. And you have a long hallway, and it'll curve and go down another way. And we was looking down toward this one hallway down toward the end. These guys kept saying, "Oh, you see that? It's a shadow person that keeps moving in and out, moving in and out." And I'm sitting there looking, straining my eyes, and I don't see anything. And I tell them, "What you're seeing is the light anomalies coming in where there's no windows, coming in with the moon and stuff." And no, it's not. No, it's not. I said, well, let's walk down there and look. And we walked down through there, and the closer we got to it, the more you could see that the moonlight was filtering in through leaves on the tree and making... Walk down through there, and the closer we got to it, the more you could see that the moonlight was filtering in through leaves on the tree and making shadows move on the inside. So a lot of that comes from stuff like that. Your mic is off again.
Oh, good grief.
Oh, now it's back on.
You really have to investigate every time.
Yeah.
You can't just see it and say, "Whoops, shadow person." You really do need to investigate just to make sure.
Right.
It's like the people who show me things in windows, photographs where, if you look really close on that pane on the right-hand side, you can see a person standing there. And I'm thinking, okay, now show me the rest of the photograph. Show me what could be reflecting into that window.
Right.
I want to see a lot of it.
And you do have to take all of that stuff into account.
Yes.
To do that. Well, I want to remind everybody, if you do have questions, private chat them to me or private chat them to Cece if you got questions. And I'll make it real simple. If you got questions about Cece, anything you want to know about the ceiling cat, ask away.
Within reason.
Within reason, okay. And if there's anything you want to know about the host, go ahead and ask. If I can't tell you, I'll find somebody that can. So, but I do want to thank CC for filling in tonight. I will let everybody know that there's new things going to be coming to the Paranormal View, and when those things take place, we will make announcements and let everybody know. So until then, just a heads up. So, we got enough time here to do one more. What about UFOs? You believe in them?
I can't believe that we're the only ones in the universe. It's hard to believe that there aren't people out there.
I can go along with that. I mean, you figure how much strides have we made in the past 120 years? And you figure if there's another planet out there that's 100,000 years older than we are, and how much technology they have. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Plus, they could have different types of minerals and everything else. I mean, to where they can do things that we can't do.
Well, I mean, there is a theory out there that silicon-based life forms can exist. It's just one little blip off of carbon-based. So it's entirely possible. And I think that there was just an article in Science that the amount of Earth-like planets out there number in the millions, if not billions.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's extremely possible that there's life on other planets. There's enough going on there. SETI is a great program that's out there actually working on trying to figure out if there's any type of transmissions, any sort of, and I don't mean it that they're actually trying to contact us via radio waves, but there's different types of pulsars and what have you that if you knock those out, there's patterns of repeating radio waves that indicate that there might be something other than natural order in the universe. That is something man-made or alien-made. But UFOs on Earth, why not?
That's true, and they could already have them walking around here. It looks like us.
Yeah. Who knows? I'm at a point where it's possible. I'm not going to run out and think everybody's an alien, but you put it in the back of your mind and you just say, okay, it's plausible.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say I think it's about time for us to take another break.
Okay.
I'll drink some more coffee then and be good to go. So I just want to remind everybody that if you do have questions, private chat them. We'll get them right out. And if you're listening from somewhere other than here on ParaX, please come on over, para-x.com, and join in the chat room. you'll have a wonderful time. Great people in here, so do that. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back another 7-8 minutes, something like that. So you're listening to the Paranormal View right here on the ParaX Radio Network. And one of the songs that I'm going to be playing is, I don't know if you've ever heard it before or not, but it talks a little bit about graveyards and ghosts, so should be pretty interesting. So we'll be back in just a little bit, so stay tuned. Be right back.
Your source for everything paranormal, ParaX.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Paranormal View right here on the ParaX Radio Network. And it's springtime. A lot of allergies are out right now, so do be very careful of the ParaX bug. Some people catches it, and they just cannot get rid of it. It hangs on and hangs on and hangs on. So there's no cure for it either, from what I understand. So I want to welcome back CC.
Hello, Henry.
Thank you for being on with me tonight.
It's been fun.
Yeah. Poor old Jeff, he doesn't know what he's missing, does he?
No, he doesn't. But Jeff is at a good cause right now.
Jeff is at a great cause. It was very sad about Don Shy, I tell you. She was on the show a few times, and she was our liaison, you might say, from the West Coast. It got us quite a few guests from out there, so we really appreciated that.
She was a great paranormal agent, publicist.
Yes.
Publicist. She was also a very good paranormal investigator, but what people don't know about her is she had a heart of gold. Dawn also ran a cat sanctuary, which a lot of people don't know. She took in lots of little critters and gave them a home when nobody else would. So, yes, the world lost a very beautiful soul when we lost Dawn Shy.
Yes, we did. And if I'd had money, I'd have went out there to went on the Queen Mary with them. But unfortunately, that little thing called the Mega Millions didn't pay off for me.
Or me either. I did win $7, but not enough to buy that villa next to George Clooney in Italy.
You won that much?
I actually won $7.
I only got $2. Well, I do want to remind everybody that if you do have questions, send them on over here to private chat, either me or CC, and we'll get those questions right in there. Have you studied much on the phenomena called the black-eyed kids?
You know, that's recently come up, and no. It's fascinating to me that I never seen one, never seen a picture of one. And all I can kind of see is a lot of talk. It's almost like an urban myth. But haven't run across one yet, so I really don't have anything to say about it.
Yeah, you know, you hear a lot of stories on it, but I've never seen any reports, actual reports, or anything. So I do think that a lot of it might be urban legend.
Or kids with, you know, in the dark, your iris grows. So, you know, and it may look like a child just has the very dark area, the center of your eye, the retina, but never seen one personally. And I've never seen photographs, and until somebody actually shows me proof,
right,
I'm kind of going, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at something like that and I say, oh, that's a black-eyed kid or something like that, I'm going to be taking a picture or doing something, so you got some kind of evidence to show somebody. So until you,
or stand here, you know, and look at the cell phone while I take a photograph of you. But I've never seen it yet.
Oh well, Me neither. So, but if it is, what do you think they might be? I mean, they say that they try to get in to your house, but they can't just come in unless you invite them in. What is it they're supposed to do, and are they supposed to be dangerous?
That sounds like almost like a vampire myth. They can't cross the threshold unless they've been invited in either. I don't quite get that. Why do you have to be invited into somebody's home where if it's demonic in nature, they don't ask for an invitation, they just walk in? It doesn't make sense.
Your mic went out.
Now?
No, you're back.
Okay. It's a relatively new phenomenon, so I can't find anything historical related to a black-eyed child.
Right.
So, I don't know.
And, you wonder, is it just in one part of the country or whatever?
Yeah.
So, now the song that I played about strange things happen in this world, it seems like that things like that happen everywhere. I mean, every town has something where somebody took somebody home and went back the next day, and they say, no, she's been dead or whatever. It seems like every place has those. Are those pretty much urban myths also?
Like I always, a lot of the stuff and a lot of what we read about, all myth has a basis in fact somewhere. So it's very possible that there was a young girl. What is her name? Resurrection Mary?
Yes,
I think that was kind of the first
one. Yeah.
That there may very well have been one event. But every town seems to have a Resurrection Mary or a Bunny Man Bridge or Dead Man's Curve.
Right.
The Hook story, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there always seems to be that.
And those are the type of stories that as kids or teenagers you're telling to try and get everybody scared. And the place where it's supposed to happen, you all get in the car and you go out there to see, or if you're brave enough, you go see. You never do see anything, but, that's the thing, I guess, of being a teenager or kid is to get scared like that.
Well, that's what I love about the internet is that a lot of the urban legends can be put to rest. A lot of the urban myths can be put to rest.
Yeah.
That there isn't that guy with a hook out there on that, dirt road.
Right.
The Bunny Man Bridge, all.
Your mic's gone. Cece, come back.
No.
All right, you're back.
Okay. The original Bunny Man Bridge does exist. And it's a very real story. But I think what ends up happening is people, find a good story and then have to relate it back to the town that they're in. So you have Bunny Man Bridges all over the place
now.
Same with Dead Man's Curve, although accidents do happen on curves everywhere.
There is a place just north of Daytona Beach, Florida, called Ormond Beach. And it's by the Halifax River. You're on the mainland side, not the island side, but on the mainland side. You go down, and it's like a 3-mile stretch of road. Well, you go down about a mile to the last street light. And from that street light to the park entrance, there's a bridge at the Tomoka River there. There's a Tomoka Park is there. And right in where you turn in there at the park, there used to be a phone booth. So, you could see the little light. There's always a light inside the phone booth. Mm-hmm. Well, this stretch of road was covered by trees with swamp on either side. And the legend is you drive down this road at night and turn your lights off and on. And a light will come on in front of you. It'll go out, come on behind you. It'll come up behind your car, go out, come on in front of your car. and it changes shapes and does all this stuff. Well, there's been a lot of people that was killed out there chasing the light or being chased by the light.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, when I was young, my uncle and cousins, we all had to go out there, and they told me, yeah, it's real, this and that. And, so, of course, I was scared, but we went out there to look at it. We was going up and down that road one night, turning the lights off and on, and a light come on behind us, and it turned red, and it come up behind the car real fast, and it grew almost like, it could have been the imagination, but it almost looked like the devil's head, whatever it would look like. So I did see that. Of course, we left and didn't go back for a long time. But another time I'd hiked out there with 3 guys from the Boy Scouts, and we was going to stay in the park. Well, they wouldn't let us stay in the park because you had to have a supervisor with you. So we come halfway down, and the park limits or whatever is right in halfway down that road. And we decided we'd stay there, and the river was maybe 50 yards from the road. We went down by the river and put our sleeping bags up. We was going to camp there. It was dark. It was in the fall, and everything was wet. So we tried to get a fire started and couldn't. So we decided to turn in to go to sleep. And all of a sudden, we heard what sounded like 4 or 5 kids on bicycles just pedaling slow and talking up on the road. Well, I didn't say anything, and one of the other guys says, hey, let's go up there and scare them. I said, okay, we can do that. So we jumped up and run up to the road, and we looked both ways, up and down the road. There was not a kid, a bicycle, or nothing, nowhere. And they could have not disappeared that fast off of that road. No way.
Cool.
And we stood there, and all of a sudden I seen a light go out at one end of the road, and it come back on at the other end. And I kept telling them, guys, there's the light, there's the light. And it come flying down the road. And they just stood there with their mouths open like, what are we seeing, So we run back down to the river, and we stood there for an hour and never seen anything go by except a couple cars. So whether there's anything to it or not, I don't know. But I do know things that I did see out there was not supposed to be like that. So,
well, you have personal experiences, and it's always good.
Yeah, it is.
Because it opens you up to the possibility that there's something out there outside of our realm of understanding.
True. Very true.
And, if we don't stop to ask the question why or what, I think we miss out on so much. Now, whether that's swamp gas.
That was one of the theories that they used to have all the time, that it was swamp gas. They did all kinds of things like block the road and have the military in there and look and see what they could find. And they did all kinds of different tests and stuff. They never did come up with anything. So
wow.
Yeah, the only problem with it is now it's growed up. They've got houses built out through there, so you don't have anything out through there anymore. All you got is just the tails and stuff where people have been killed out there. So pretty interesting, though.
Oh yeah, but like I said, out of every myth that we have, there's always a real fact there.
Now, Patsy wanted me to tell another little story about up here where we live. There's this little town before you get to Trenton, and there's a red light. It's like a little 4-way intersection, kind of. And there's this house that's right there next to the road. It used to be a beer joint, I guess, or whatever. And it seemed like every time we come through that area, we had to stop at a red light. And Patsy would be hollering. She'd roll her windows up and lock the door. She says, I know there's an axe murderer there. I know there's an axe murderer going to come out and get us. Well, it wasn't very much later. After you leave that town going toward Trenton, where I live, there's a graveyard sets off the road on the left. That's where my mom and them's buried. And come to find out, that there used to be a man who, I guess, had murdered people with an axe, and there's a garage there at the cemetery where he used to take the axe and beat on the door or something with the axe, and it still has axe marks in the door, supposedly. So we thought it was kind of funny how she'd laugh about something like that and then find out that, yeah, there was one around there. So it was pretty interesting.
It's great when you find synchronistic events like that.
Yeah, I'm sure it didn't tie into nothing, but it was just funny that it did that.
But it adds to the story. It adds to the myth of the location. And that, to me, like I said, it's great with the internet now because you can track stories like this. You can track the axe murderers. You can track the Bunny Man. You can track lights as it changes and as the story changes state per state per state.
Oh, yeah. So I've got stories like that from Florida and stories from Kentucky and stories from up here. And
you need to write a book.
No. Someday I thought of stuff like that, but I don't know. Let's see here what else I've got. I bet you didn't write no questions down, did you?
No.
Yeah, okay, that's good then. That's good. Ghosts. Have you ever seen one?
Lights at the edge of the bed, yeah. Felt ghosts, yes.
That was the next part of it. You ever been touched?
Touched in a certain way. To the bed, yeah. Felt ghosts, yes.
That was the next part of it. You ever been touched?
Touched in a certain way. That sounded really bad.
Well,
what I mean by that is the Brookdale Lodge. If you want to talk good ghost stories.
Okay.
The Brookdale is now closed, but the Brookdale was built in Santa Cruz Mountains. Beautiful redwood forests. There's a stream that runs through the dining area of the lodge. This lodge was built, and there was lots of Hollywood stars that would come up because it was nice and isolated. There were cabins that people could go to. There was a mermaid tank. There was, it got to be a little seedy after a while with mob bosses and what have you.
Really?
Yeah. The people that owned it had a little daughter named, I believe her name was Sarah. Sarah drowned in the creek that was going through the dining area. So when we went down there to do lunch and an investigation, there was a cold spot on the bridge where next to where this kid was supposed to have drowned. And somebody's going, "Oh, it's cold here. Put your hand in this area." And it was cold. But then the whole vision started of you could see a blonde-haired girl, and I don't think it was her, though, being held under the water, and she was fighting. And that's what the image and the emotion that I was getting when I was touching that cold spot. And that lingered with me for quite a long time that evening. So whether she was trying to communicate what happened, this person was trying to communicate what happened, I don't know. That's the only way I can think of is what she was trying to do.
Well, that'd be pretty interesting, huh?
Oh, yeah. But otherwise, yeah, I got pushed. Yeah. I don't think much of it. I just figure that if somebody just telling me, "Hey, dummy, wake up, look over here."
Well, that's true. And I've been touched only one time, and that was at the farmhouse. We were all in the living room. They were all sitting around in chairs and on the couch, and I was standing between the couch and the chair, kind of like behind it. And all of a sudden, something jerked the back of my pants leg twice. And it was supposed to have been a little girl ghost there. And earlier that evening, one of the guys, when they was trying to communicate, said, was trying to get her to play tag. You tag me, and then I'll try to tag you. And as soon as that happened, they said, "Well, you're it because she tagged you." So.
And then you got a good response. That to me is what you look for. Residual hauntings to me are sort of like a tape recorder, and you're watching a movie. But when you actually have interaction, leads you to believe that there is something going on. There is a ghost as opposed to just a residual energy.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
It is, and I've often said, you can touch me if you want or whatever, and let me know that you're here.
There.
I've invited them to come sit beside of me and talk with me and all sorts of different things like that. So I think the main thing is let them know that you're not there to try to do them any harm, that you're there just to communicate and talk with them, to be their friend. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah. So what is your opinion of provoking?
I don't believe in provoking. I mean, if they're going to talk to you, they're going to talk to you. You don't have to treat them mean or anything. I don't think that's the way you win their confidence or friendship. Because remember, they were alive at one time, just like we are. So you have to treat them appropriately that way, because to them, they're probably still alive, only in spirit form in whatever realm they're in.
And what do you think about demonic possession?
I won't say that don't happen. Because the Bible speaks of it. I know that some people says it's happened to them. I've never had anything bad happen to me, and knock on wood. I don't go looking for anything like that. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm just saying I haven't actually been around anyone who has been going through that when I was around, let's say. So I have no idea, because I'm not a witness to it. What do you think that it's there? Did it happen?
I don't know if there is such thing as a devil, so I don't know if demonic possession even does exist. Now, can you have nasty people around you? Yes.
Yeah. Do
those people turn into nasty ghosts? Yes. Are there such a thing as elementals? Maybe. They can be just as nasty and just as, fire, brimstone, all of that. But to call it demonic, I'll reserve judgment on that one. Now, when you go out on investigation, what do you take with you?
Yeah, that was one of the questions that I had down for you too. What equipment is a must in doing investigations? To me, I don't have the infrared cameras and all that good stuff to set up, because I don't have the money, and I don't do it that often, so it wouldn't pay for me to do that. And I'm not sure that you actually catch that much on film when you're doing an investigation. Sometimes you might get lucky and catch something, but it's not as likely. To me, a recorder and your flashlight is the two main important things, because, like I said, in any investigation, it's personal experience mainly that you have.
Sure.
So that, to me, that's the most important things. Now, I have used dowsing rods, but there's always the possibility of manipulation, and not on purpose, but by accident. If you move it, your hands or whatever, a little bit one way or the other, it can cause them to move. But I've used those and had them to work. So what do you use?
I do take a camera with me.
Well, I do take a regular camera. I don't take as many pictures, though, probably as somebody else does.
Well, I do have a camera with an IR illuminator, a film camera with an IR illuminator, but I don't do that many nighttime investigations to be useful. Do have a recorder. Do have a K2 meter. But I also have other things too. I have a Geiger counter. I have a millimeter. I have a light meter. You just decide what you want to take with you on any one investigation and what's allowed in some places too.
Right.
The Hornet doesn't like you taking a lot of equipment in. It's a national a museum.
Right.
So they don't allow you to take quite a bit on. But you can sneak a tape recorder in and a camera, most definitely.
Right. Well, now, is that just like walking around on a walking tour or something of it, or did they?
No, you walk around. You can go anywhere on the ship. Well, there's a couple of floors of the ship that you can go on. They won't let you into some areas without a guided tour.
Right. Well, that's the way it is on the battleship North Carolina. You can go pay your money and go on the ship. You can go into the guns and up and down the decks and different places. I mean, the whole ship is not open to you, but you can go anywhere you want to in the daytime when they have it open like that. But there's usually a lot of people, so you aren't going to really be able to get a good investigation type if you're just walking around even. So I do want to remind everybody that coming up right after our show, stay tuned for Doug and Pat with the Ghost Soldiers. I believe they're going to be playing some music for you, so you'll be able to listen to that. Sometime after the show, I'll probably try and catch the end of the Ohio State-Kansas game, maybe, if it's not over with yet. So, but if there's still time, if you do have questions, private chat them to either CC or myself, and we'll jump right in there and get those answered for you. We talked about the equipment. What places have you actually investigated?
The Brookdale Lodge, the USS Hornet. There's, let's see, Jack London's house. He has a ranch up in the North Bay. Alcatraz. The Hotel Utah. All said to be haunted. There's also a place called the Haunted Mansion on California Street in San Francisco. The Presidio, sort of.
Yeah, now I've heard the Presidio is supposed to be haunted. They got certain parts of it closed off, or they're just...
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's some things that were haunted but are no longer there anymore. Letterman Hospital was torn down, and that was the site of a lot of the evacuees from the 1908 earthquake.
Wow, really? That sounds pretty interesting too. So you live in San Francisco or
in the Bay Area? Yes.
In the Bay Area. Was you there quite a few years back when they had the earthquake when the World Series was going on?
The Loma Prieta earthquake, yes.
Yeah. Now that did quite a bit of damage there.
It didn't feel a thing up here though.
Oh, is
I
that
didn't
right?
feel a thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
But obviously it caused a great deal of devastation here. There was a lot of deaths on the freeway area, but that area doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Too damaged. They just
tore it down
and got rid of it. Well, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. Well, now, of the different places around, what place would you really like to be able to investigate?
That I haven't done yet?
Yep.
There's a place called, there's two actually. There's Sam's Castle. Sam built this, it's not a really castle-looking thing, but it's a big house in Pacifica, that was named Sam's Castle, and it's supposedly haunted. It's just been now opened to the public. So I'd love to get a chance to get in there and investigate there. I would love to go in and investigate the Presidio Theater. The basement of that is supposedly very, very haunted by things that aren't so nice.
The things that aren't so nice, huh? From what I understand, there's a place, the Mansfield Prison up here north of us in Ohio, that is supposed to be pretty active. And I know Kat Cloco, that we've had on the show before, has been there a couple of times, and she said she's been touched and everything there. Said it's really active. I wouldn't mind trying to go through that place. So
that would be awesome. I mean, the very fact that that's where Shawshank Redemption was filmed,
right?
But the history of that prison is amazing.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, and you'd think that if everything that went on there, it cannot but be haunted.
Yes, well, a lot of your prisons are that way. The only problem with going into old places like that is that they've been run down so long because nobody's done anything to keep them up, that it makes it almost dangerous to go in, and not because of the spirits, but because of the way the thing has decayed so much. Most of the places has probably got lead paint falling down, and mold and mildew, and it just makes it a health hazard to me. So that's why I don't really care to go into places unless they've been kind of kept up a little.
Well, here's a good question for you. In situations like that where there is history to the place, but albeit bad history, do you think that those types of places should be preserved? Or if they're torn down, do you think that the spirits have a chance to then leave, and that the area would actually be better?
I'm sure that they would have a chance to leave, but as the way that I think is, if the spirits are living there now, they're living in it in the condition it was in when they were alive. So even if it's tore down, I still think the spirits are living there in that same area, and they still think that they're in the building. And some of the reasons that I say that is a lot of times people have seen spirits in different places, and actually visually see it, and they might be doing something and they'll turn and walk through a wall. Well, that wall might have used to been a door there, and to them, that doorway is still there. So that's why I still think that they're living in the place in the way it was when they were here. So even if you tear it down, to them it still exists because they're on a different plane. We can't see it, but they can.
You bet.
Yeah.
And whether or not they acknowledge us is something else too.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, that's only my theory. I mean, I could be totally wrong because.
Well, that's the good part about the paranormal, Henry, is we can discuss it. It's really all theory.
That's true. Nobody knows anything, and the thing is, you can't prove anything or disprove it.
Exactly.
So that's what makes it so hard to try and come up with anything to be able to prove anything. So,
you bet.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting like that. Well, now, I know you was on with us, a couple of weeks ago, and we was talking about the place in Washington, Mount Shasta. Did you read up on that any at all?
Mount Shasta, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's actually in California.
Oh, is it? That's where I thought it was. I don't know why Jeff thought it was in Washington.
Oh no, it's Northern California, not that far away.
Yeah.
Not much on it other than I know that there's various theories about it being Atlantean, Lemurian, extremely spiritual place,
Right.
similar to Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's on, and I don't know if you ever had anybody on who could talk about ley lines in
Ley
the United
lines?
States, but supposedly it's on a power line within the United States. There is a grid that. Is it there one type of year that all the scorpions come out?
Oh, really?
I think that, yeah. There's one day where all the scorpions just sort of show up.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't. It could be that that's when they all decide to hatch. I don't know.
Huh.
It's a very interesting place. Mount Shasta is supposedly a sacred, not only of the New Age people, but also the Native Americans.
Right. There's supposed to have been a lot of that there, and I think that's what got it in that position to where the spiritual aspect of it.
Sure.
Now, you said there's a place in New Mexico also?
Santa Fe, Taos, New Mexico. Yeah. All. Again, it's like a power center. A lot of people believe that the EMF areas or the energy in there is quite healing. So yeah, you have several people who migrate to Santa Fe. Now there are ley lines that go up California coast through New Mexico, up through Oregon, and then there are several going through the middle of the United States. I have to actually go back and try to find the map of ley lines that people are trying to actually map out, similar to the ley lines in England.
Wow. Well, see, I didn't know that, and we did have somebody. It's probably been a couple years ago on talking about the ley lines. Mm-hmm. I've had so many guests I can't remember them all. I've got boxes already of all the shows that we've had in folders.
Wow.
And so I've been on since 2008, fall of 2008. Mm-hmm. So that's quite a few shows. Very few shows have we missed. We've missed some over time because we couldn't get connected or different things happened and had to play reruns. So that's I've had quite a few.
Yes, you have, Henry.
And I think one of our first guests that we had on was a guy talking about lake monsters. And this guy could tell you about any lake around and what kind of monsters and different things been seen about it and when the last activity was and all this. And this guy went on for 2 hours talking about everything. And then at the end of the show, we let everybody know the guy was 15 years old.
Wow.
He had done all this research for years and compiled everything. And it was just amazing. I mean, him just being on the show talking, you'd never thought that. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean, there are some people you wonder where they get their focus.
Yeah,
that kid was focused,
mm-hmm.
Extremely focused.
Well,
I remember the show.
Our time is kind of run right on down, and I do want to take the time to thank Cece, also known as Barbara Duncan, for
Mm-hmm.
being on our show tonight. She's always a great co-host and a great guest to be on. Appreciate it. And
Thank you.
I got a feeling you might hear more of CC from time to time, and we appreciate that. Did you want to let everybody know, in case somebody wanted to get in contact with you, how to do it on Facebook? And
You can try doing a search for Barbara Duncan, but there are millions of us. You can probably find me better by just simply coming into the chat room and sending me a quick email that you want to friend me on Facebook, and I'll find you. Most of you have better names than mine.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody again listening from around the world. Speaking of that, we had listeners tonight from the U.S., the UK, Canada, Switzerland, and that famous other place. We had 6. So welcome, everybody, for listening. Stay tuned right after our show. You're going to have the Ghost Soldiers on. And next week, we have Kat Cloco going to be on, talking about the things that she's been doing. She's an author and an investigator, so that ought to be real interesting. And till then, you can check us out at theparanormalview.com, and you can go here on ParaX and go to the Saturday shows, go to the Paranormal View, and you will also be able to listen to our podcast from there. So, till next week, this is Henry Foister.
And Barbara Duncan.
There we go. Until then, this is the Paranormal View saying good night, everybody.
Good night.
We're leaving. We're gone. Paranormal View. Come back and visit us again if you dare. You've been listening to the Paranormal View.